Welcome to the coaching game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight I am thrilled to have Tulis McCall as my guest. Hey, Tulis.
Hey, Laurie, how are you?
Good. Tulis and I met not in a coaching class. Hey, how about that? We met when we were reviewing plays, which I do sometimes, and she does a lot, and much more extensive than me. But I'll tell you how you can find all her stuff later. And we just started talking, and she started telling me about this fantastic thing that she was doing. We started telling us, we were with a mutual friend. Um, oh my goodness, hello.
A little.
Tulis has a cat, yes.
I have three, so
Oh my God, well, there's a parade that may go on. We'll just
yeah,
carry
yeah.
on.
They always, cats. They like to sit on your.
Yeah, and they love attention, and so we'll put them on television. How's that?
Okay.
She started telling me about something she's called Monday Musings. And I'm going, well, that's interesting. And then I kept going, well, my gosh, she's had so much experience. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about it. The things I know about, she's a reviewer of plays. She's been on stage in her own play.
Hmm?
She is a celebrant. Well, I don't know why that comes in there, but I'm sure it came in handy.
Oh, yeah.
And all kinds of cool stuff. But I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about how Monday Musings came about because I think it's such a cool idea. So, Tulis.
Oh, okay. Well, I belong to a writing group that's based in Connecticut, and I mean, the pandemic was a pretty horrible thing, but one of the things that it did was give us ways to be in contact with people uh, who are not, in our apartments. So I have several different groups that I meet with, and I mean it's wonderful because we need a slice of time. We don't need, I couldn't meet with this group in Connecticut for, I'd have to drive 2 hours. So anyway, it was through an old friend of mine, and these people have been meeting for quite a long time. And so every time they do a meeting, which is about every other week, they're called journey writers, and they send out a prompt. Just say, today's prompt is whatever. And so they did a prompt on turkeys because it was approaching Thanksgiving. So I just sat down and started this piece, and it sort of turned out to be like, your Uncle Gus giving grace and just going, and while we're on the subject, this and this and this, and so we just went on and on about what turkeys are tasty, but they're mean. You have to be careful. My brother had a turkey in his neighborhood, fell in love with his car, couldn't get in the car. And then it gets to the end, and the voice wraps it up and says, well, Lord, that's about all I got to say on this subject. And it's a brand new group. I've only been with it for about a year. And they were so sweet and so receptive. And they went, oh my God, this is great. And they have a small radio show, and they said, you should please record it, and we want to put it on the radio. And then I thought, maybe I could do more of these, because I was raised, my age is 73, and I was raised at the time of black and white TV, of course, but they had editorials on the news. And I'm thinking of Eric Severide, who was this wonderful guy, and he would talk for about 5 minutes. And I don't know why I always loved it, because I just felt like I could understand what he was saying. It was so basic, and there were others. I mean, Chet Huntley, David Brinkley. These days it's Scott Simon. They have these little sections of their show where they just editorialize. And I thought, I've always liked that. So let me see if I could do that. And then I worked with my IT guy, and we figured out how to get it to the web. It's just under my website, tulismccall.com. And so far I haven't missed a week. And I used to worry about oh my God, what am I going to write about? No, 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 no. But I find that as the week progresses, something comes up. And, the week before last, it was COVID because I had it. And then this week there was another prompt from this group about something that benefited you. And I started to think about, when we get these great ideas and we don't write them down, they're gone.
Just
They're
that.
just gone. And I had one the other day that was one of those hokey smokes. I never realized that was the source of so I wrote about that. But every week it's something, I don't know. It's just, it feels pretty easy to come up with something that's puzzling or at least annoying every week. And they're 5 minutes. They're not.
Which makes him lovable. I mean, because it's, the attention span now, it's like, I think it's 3 minutes tops, but yours is so good you can hang in there for 5. I think one of the things, and it may be the thing that you liked about Eric Sebright, is it's almost like a one-on-one. It feels like you're talking to me, just to me, and telling me. It's like we're having coffee and we're having a little chit chat, and you're expanding on whatever subject. I think the first one that I heard from you was and not cattle calls, but what it takes.
Auditions.
Auditions, yeah. Sometimes cattle calls, but what it takes behind the scenes, and I said, oh, that is so fascinating, because we all just assume, you go, you get the part, you're on stage, hey, cool. But we don't know what it takes, and the perseverance, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about too, the perseverance and the confidence. It's like, how do you keep doing that? What are your tricks? What are your tricks to keep doing that, even though go, nah, afraid not. You're too young, you're too old, you're too tall, you're too slow. How do you? And I look at the people on there, and I look at, like, let's say Al Pacino, who's not a staggeringly tall man. It's like, what made him keep going? And
Yeah.
what is that? Tell us that, Tulis. What is that makes you do it? Because you've been on stage.
Yeah. I guess my threshold for boredom is very low. So I have to get out there and do stuff. It's like, if I want to be bored, I'll just stay in my apartment. But the minute I go outside, something happens and I go, okay, that was good. So it just keeps me interested. I just think I would get bored so fast. Excuse me. And it doesn't occur to me it might not happen. It's like, well, what's this going to be like? It's like when I was living in LA after 9/11, I decided I needed to move back here because I had been here for 13 years. And I was 50 at the time, I think 50. And it didn't occur. Nobody thought I could do it because it's 50. My God, she's never going to find a job. She's never going to, it's a horrible place to live right now, blah, blah, blah. Well, fortunately, I didn't ask anybody. So I didn't know what they all thought until afterwards. And I came here in January and February, and, I found a job, and then I found an apartment, and then I went back to California, and I moved back here. So it's kind of like, I guess my mother used to say this, don't think, do.
Yeah, what great advice. It's like, rather than, and I was taught coming up that, you got to plan it out, and you got to make sure you have enough money. You're right. I moved to New York City with an amazingly low amount of money in my bank account many, many years ago. And I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it. And here I am still. Yeah. So it's,
I can see where it's easier, where it's more tempting at this age to say, maybe I don't really want to do that. And I have to watch out for that voice, because it's sort of ubiquitous. It just all of a sudden comes, so you're in the 70s and you're thinking, maybe not. And I never thought that I would be like that. I thought, well, I'm always going to be, but I could see where that voice actually comes in and says, you don't have to try so hard. If you're lucky, you've got 20 years left, and, just don't get too excited about things and let things slide. And I'm surprised that that voice is there. I'm very, very surprised. So I have to say thank you. As a friend of mine said, you just give it a one-way ticket to the Bahamas.
Ah.
Hey, bye-bye now. I see you. Go have a lovely time. But that's yeah, that was a surprise about, when you look at the figures and go, well, my age is, and I try not to say I'm 73. I think that's a trap. I'm Tulis.
Great,
My
great.
age is 73. So
Beautiful. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's then we start to identify with, I'm 73. No, well, that may be your age, but what else is going on?
Yeah.
So I think we have to be, what do you call it? Attentive to that thing that comes along and says, it's okay to do nothing.
I love that you mentioned the voice, because I have the same voice. Prior to the pandemic, nope, I'd be out there, I'd do anything, take it away. Pandemic, you got to stay home and you got to reflect and you got to get used to just not being out there. And I find that, I don't know what changes came for you, but I find that I have to really, and then you're hearing crime and you're hearing all this crazy stuff, and I'm in Times Square, so it's legitimate. But I have to force myself out there. Did you find any changes during the pandemic? Where you were in New York City, yeah?
Yeah. Well, basically, I didn't leave my apartment. I mean, I went out to go grocery shopping, but then I figured out how I could order my groceries online. And but it was a health thing. I mean, people were dying.
Yes.
So I was not about to be the crusader that said, let me pop out there and see what's cooking. I took it very, very seriously. And then after that, it was slow to emerge. I mean, as we were saying, I just got COVID. So it's still, it's still out there. I was fortunate. I live right across the street from a beautiful park. So I could go there and walk around and not be, too close up. But for I guess March through June, I think I was outside my apartment maybe 3 times. And that was, I just said, nope, 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 not doing it, not doing it. And when I did go out, I had to go to the hospital for a minor surgery, and the nurses said, thank you for staying home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And no one was actually encouraging you to get out there, at that
No,
point.
but they said, this has been, we weren't trained for this.
Yeah.
We were not trained. So thank you for being one of the people who stayed home. So, but in terms of, yeah, I think New York it's still right in the middle of this amazing transformation, with so many people working from home. And I just, New York's going to survive, but it's modifying itself. It always does, but so it's strange to sort of, I have my radar, I have my antenna up
Or
a lot, just, what's going on,
yeah.
what, how's my health, did I wash my hands, all that.
It's funny, and for those who think it's, who are waiting for New York to come back, it's not going to in its original form, not original, but its previous form. But what message did COVID give you? Because I got a bunch of messages, and like I said, I just got it in July, and
Mhm.
I'm very thankful that it took me 3 years to get around to getting it because they know a lot more now. But did you get any messages from the experience with COVID?
A great question. Well, what did you get?
I got vulnerability. I got lack of confidence. It was because my sign of COVID was I was walking along outside in public up in Parsippany, and I felt a little dizzy, and then I was on the floor, and it was like, whoa, how did that happen? And I passed
Wow.
out, and it was like, whoa, now I'm paranoid. I'm very paranoid, even though, knock on whatever I have here. So my message is, um, you're not as invulnerable as you think you are. I mean, you're a subject, and I was walking around thinking, "Whoa, how cool am I? I didn't get COVID." I feel very bad.
Right. Well,
Did
there's your mistake, Laurie.
exactly. It was like, watch this.
Oh, right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, so I've signed myself doing that. Now I put off a couple of stress tests that I have because like, oh, I'm not sure, can I breathe? And I'm creating the craziness, but and I know that.
Mhm.
But it's a constant. I feel like I'm constantly talking to myself. It's like you're telling bye bye, go to Bahamas. I'm doing the same thing. It's
Mm.
yeah, let's go back to reality now. You can do this and you can do that. But that was
Yeah.
the message I
Yeah.
got. It was like, yeah, you're not quite as cool as you think you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it made me feel mortal,
Oh
you know,
yeah, oh my
very,
gosh. Yeah.
and that's another funny thing, you don't know that's going to happen. I remember as a kid, listening to people complain about being old, and I thought, well, didn't they know it was going to happen? I mean, why are they complaining? There's nothing they can do about it. So I
Yeah.
still feel that way, so
Yeah.
when people are, because I've experienced recently, I had three dear friends pass on, and someone said, well, you're getting to that age. And I just wanted, what I wanted to.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, and I, I just, th- it just creeps up on you. I think we just all have to be vigilant about saying, today is, I'm going to live this whole entire day. I'm going to live the whole thing, and I'm going to give it everything I've got. And, like that. But I'm not going to sit around going, oh, gee, wow, my life's probably over. Well, do you know how many people are on Instagram that are over 100 and living extraordinary lives? There's a whole bunch of them that are just saying, they're going skydiving, they're doing swimming, I mean, all these things. So yeah, it's just, but it's, well, and not going out, not seeing people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden I went, I, wow, I just wasn't used to being home all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was, well, but I mean, at least we were all going through it.
There was a little misery in company for sure, or what pleasure in company, whatever. It was shared, and yeah, it was like I think if it had happened to you individually, you would go, "Oh my God, I'm just going to check on out here because I don't know what's going on." But it was
Yeah,
a conglomerate of people just trying to adjust.
yeah,
Yeah, and I hear you saying that it's really it's a mindset, and it's a mindset that doesn't just it's not like, oh well, today my mindset is. It's when you have to work for it. And that gets us back to the acting part. It's like it doesn't just happen. You've got to make your own life. You've got
yeah,
to come up with the bye bye Bahamas. I love that. I'm going to use that from now on. Absolutely. Take it from um, and I think that's what appealed to me about the Monday musings, was that it was just a little teeny slice of life with
hmm,
a cool viewpoint, and leaving you something to think about. It's like, well, how do I feel about auditions. I don't technically have them, but how do
Right,
I feel
right.
about putting myself out there and showing people what I got, you know? And
Yeah.
your COVID hit me because it's like, yeah, I hear you on that one. So
Mhm.
the Monday music, let's tell people how they can find them, first of all.
It's on my website, which is Tulis, Tulis McCall, MCCALL.com. And when you just pull that up, it's right on the landing page. And
Mm,
you can just click on it. And I think also, we're more as Maya Angelou said, we're more alike than we're not alike. I forget how she said that, but there are so many things that are universal, and we don't even know that they are.
yeah.
So the more specific you get, I think, people go, oh yeah, 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 me too, me too.
Yeah.
Like that thing about I have thoughts now, and if I don't write them down, they're gone. But that's always happened to me. But or like, not understanding all the words in a Christmas carol, so you make them up, but you have no idea why. You don't know We don't know why it's Brown John Virgin. I mean,
Yeah.
how did that fit into the thing? But you don't tell anybody because you're only 6.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and those, just there's so much. I just think if I dig deep, go down into whatever that thing is, that other people, that's where people want to go. They want to go into those little intimate, not terribly, it's not a big deal, but it connects people. It's like, how did diaries turn into journals?
Mm,
How did that happen? And
yeah.
and everybody our age goes, yeah, what? Wait a minute. Um, so those, relating those things, when people say me too, then I think that as an artist, you've done your job.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a connection and a camaraderie. It's like I know the most fascinating thing when I took coach training many, many years ago was that I would look at someone and go, "Oh God, you feel that too?" It's like I thought I was the only person in the world that felt that, and it's just so nice to know yeah, this is not out there. This is kind of, mainstream or not. Maybe it's a little edgy, but okay. And I think that's kind of what the charm of the Monday musings that you do. It's like this is just me. I don't have to be an actress to understand what you were saying about auditions. It's like
Right.
that.
Well, yeah, and if I do my job right,
Yeah,
you'll be able to come with me and
yeah,
have that experience. So that's kind of the point too,
yeah,
is, give you, but it's because I'm fascinated with it. When I look at the process, I go, holy cow, I have to do what? Wow. And then,
I
you
did it. I used to do it. I don't know if you still do it, but I'm sure you said I used to do that, right?
yeah, no, I've started auditioning again because my day job has gone away. So
Ah,
it's there aren't that many parts out there for women my age, which is unfortunate. But I've been averaging about once a week for the past 4 or 5 weeks. And I haven't gotten anything, but I'm getting better at auditioning and I like it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
for the 99% of the time, the people who are sitting at that table, they want you to be good. They want you to be good.
Oh, that's a good point. I hope so. I would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're stuck there all day, so they're hoping that
Entertain me, please. Yes.
yeah, and you only have 2 minutes to
To
make
do
your
your thing.
make your
Yeah.
mark. Yeah. Yeah. So it's yeah, I find them to be very hopeful, engaging people, which, I wouldn't want that job. I wouldn't want to sit there from 9:30 to 5:30 watching people come in every 2 minutes.
Doing the same thing and then judging them. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of people to see. You have to keep your wits about you because you're the first line of defense. So they they're hoping. And then if it doesn't work out, you never know why. They don't call you and say,
That's frustrating. Yeah.
yeah,
And
well,
the,
they
the
don't, I mean, but it is an efficacy of time, they just you're
sure.
just- you're you're not the right person for this part, and it has nothing to do um with, I mean, it could be, did you do a bad audition, which is always possible, but even if you do a good one, you know, I auditioned for a part, and oh God, I can't remember. I can't remember. I can see her. And this woman has been cast in that part. Well, we're nothing alike. If that's who they were looking for,
Yeah.
that's not me.
Yeah.
I couldn't even pretend to be her.
I mean,
So,
and it could be something, that looking for somebody with brown eyes. Who knows? You just don't know. You just don't
mhm,
know. Or the chemistry with the other person. What I hear you saying is, and we just like have 2 minutes left, believe it or not. And 28 minutes goes quickly. I hear you saying that it's like um you can make it an experience that eggs you forward or pulls you back. But whatever it is, you're gonna have to probably make your own learning lesson from it. You're going to have to get your own wisdom from whatever's going on because you're not going to be told. You
no,
may in rare instances,
right.
and and that's a beautiful thing. I think we could do that with everything. It's like don't
Yeah,
wait for somebody to tell you. What can you learn? What did you learn from that?
right. Then move on, move on.
That's it. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Not necessarily
But
to
that's
the
but
Bahamas.
that's anybody at any age.
It is. And so we as elders are sharing our wisdom here and which is the cool thing about Monday musings. So that's really cool. So and what I also hear you say is that mind your mind and be vigilant. You got to those voices, you gotta quieten them, you gotta make friends with them, you gotta say, ha, here you are, but you're not gonna get me. And
Right.
that's what the Monday musings are all about. And we didn't even get to talk about everything else this lady is involved in, but I do ask you to check it out. Just I think one is gonna sell you. It's Tulis McCall, Tulis McCall.com. And they come out every Monday and they are a delight. And I am so
Good.
yeah, I'm so thrilled to have you on the show and
Thank you. You
sharing the
too.
background and some of your life lessons. It's fascinating and greatly appreciated. We'll have to come
Thanks.
back and do some more. I had a good
Oh,
time.
I would love to.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
Miss Toulis, thank you so much. I'll see you on
Sorry.
Monday.
Right.